Elam is going to try this, and it will be a 60, let's call it 63-yard attempt. Spotted at the Bronco 47-yard line. Snap a little hot. Elam's kick. Oh, the line drive. It's got enough distance.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Rhett Johnson, and I am joined this evening by my brother Ian. Ian, on a scale of 1 to oh my God, what did we do? How are you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to talk about first time on the Locked On or the Long Distance Kicked podcast that we are covering a loss because we went undefeated in the preseason. We won week 1, so I'm excited about it. I'm not happy that we lost the game, but I'm also not in panic mode. It's early in the year; a lot can happen, so I'm ready to dive into it.
All right, cool. Well, let's not beat around the bush. Let's roll on down to the morgue and let's get to the old post-mortem. What happened this weekend was the Broncos came in to Indianapolis and felt like they had the upper hand most of the game, maybe even kind of controlled the game a lot of the game. And in the fourth quarter, a number of decisions and mishappenings and hijinks ensued, ending in a missed 60-yard field goal from a kicker who had never attempted more than a 48-yard field goal, and a leverage call, and then a game-winning 45-yard field goal for the Indianapolis Colts. They win 29-28, and we're left in indescribable pain.
It is a terrible way to lose a football game. There's no doubt about it.
Just an awful way to lose. Ian, if I gave you 100% of if I put you in charge of 100%, I not gave you 100% of blame. If I put you in charge of 100% of the blame of this game, how would you divvy it up amongst the Denver Broncos organization as a whole?
Well, this is a weird one because, last week I talked about, we're going to win 17-16. I said offense still isn't going to get going. Well, our offense produced 28 points. Bo Nix, I thought, did really great. Obviously, some of the throws, but more than anything, he's just showing more improved mastery of checks at the line, which you really want to see. I have very little to criticize Bo from that game. He threw that pretty terrible looking pick in real time. Sean Payton was talking about how that was tipped, so that might lead to it. We also know that Sean is privy to defending Bo sometimes, so I'd have to really go back and look at it. But on the offensive side of the ball, we did some really good things. Listen, it's never just one player. Obviously, you can point to Will Lutz missing that field goal late in the game, and that obviously would have been great to have. I'll go ahead and tell you who I was most frustrated with.
Okay.
And that would be our two linebackers, Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad. Rhett, they just looked absolutely lost, man. And for as long as they've both been in the league, I understand Alex Singleton is coming back from an injury. I know that. Some of the angles of pursuits that both of these guys were taking were beyond fathoming to me. I sent you and our friend Monty a clip. You know what I'm talking about, where it was just like you are both running in the exact same area and doing the exact same thing, and it was a horrible angle, and it was just hard to watch. You saw Shane Steichen really recognize the weakness in our unit and exploit that, among other things. And it's one of those things. Am I concerned overall with our defense? No, I'm not. It's important to note, we still applied pressure at a pretty high rate. I think ultimately, if I'm going to blame someone for our loss, I'd probably blame Shane Steichen. To be honest, credit to him. He had a fantastic game plan. I mean, it was fun watching, you looked at Sean Payton versus Lou Anarumo. Sean, kind of got the better in that chess match, but man, Shane Steichen came out, and credit to him. Rhett, we talked about how, and I know you're maybe going to get into some of this in a minute, but I anticipated them moving the ball on us. That's not surprising to me, but I thought it was going to be more Daniel Jones is pulling levers in response to our pressure. I think I'm shocked at how often they found the big play on our defense. They were not
Hmm.
afraid to throw it to Sertan's side. They were not afraid to hit the big play deep. They were not afraid to get Tyler Warren going in a lot of different ways. Daniel Jones spread it around. Very economical performance from him at quarterback. And I do not mean that as a slight at all. I thought he was fantastic. So, Red, if I'm putting the blame on anybody, I don't even know that I'm going to our team. I think I'm just giving credit where credit's due. Shane Steichen, a guy who I've been critical of in the past, he had a killer game plan, man, and he got the better of us.
Yeah, I was skeptical of the Colts obviously dominating the Dolphins in week one. You can't choose, you can't pick who you play, can't do anything about that. But I was sort of expecting them to be a little bit more of a paper tiger than they were. They were a real life tiger. Nope,
They were, man.
no paper here. I was fascinated by, and honestly, I have been fascinated by for the last at least the last year by the personnel that Indianapolis has. I remember specifically having conversations. It was leading into last year, the conversation around do you draft Anthony Richardson in fantasy high or not,
Hmm.
got me to think about this. Indianapolis has quietly put together a very interesting zag in the league. Um, every like it feels like every single skill player that the Indianapolis Colts have is massive. They are they're just a bunch of they are a big large team, and all day defending this Colts unit. Um, what I saw over and over again was a very good offensive line that was able to get some push in the run game. And Jonathan Taylor is a big human being who's fast. Our linebackers, like you said, our linebackers didn't play well at all. They certainly helped Indianapolis out a lot, but it gave them a very high floor to be playing out of. And then the passing game, Daniel Jones found his spots, but it wasn't like Denver was slacking in coverage. I can't tell you how many times you saw a contested catch by an Indianapolis receiver or like a box out catch from an Indianapolis receiver for like 11 to 15 yards in that middle range where they didn't really burn us over the top. It wasn't all they weren't shuttling it to the sidelines and trying to get yards after catch. It was run 10 yards downfield, turn around, stick your butt out, like go get a rebound over and over and over again. I'm really interested because it seems like pretty sustainable way for the Colts to operate. And I
Absolutely.
rem- I remember about a week and a half ago, Zach Stevens of DMVR tweeted out a fact. He said it was a fun fact. I don't think it was a fun fact at all, but he said he tweeted like fun fact: the Denver Broncos have the lightest average, like the lightest defense in the league based on like average weight of their starters or whatever.
Huh.
And I was like, huh, that's not a fun fact at all. I don't like that. I think that that might be bad. Like that could be a problem.
Thanks,
Um,
Zach. Thanks for making that more well known.
yeah, like oh man. So I think this is a thing where not every week we're going to be going up against a team that has just that level of size across the board. At the receiver position, at the tight end position, at the running back position, and even at the quarterback position. Daniel Jones is big, but it honestly it puts a little bit of concern, a little pit in my stomach for um, late in the year, for January, for playoff time. This is a defense that's going to need to prove that still has not yet really proven its ability to go in against quarterbacks and offenses that can really run the football and quarterbacks that can make a play with their legs. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have just
Hmm.
absolutely put this
Yep.
defense to the sword in the last year. And then we just saw Daniel Jones, who is not a maybe he's an MVP this year, I don't know, but who hasn't been one of those marquee quarterbacks. He is big, he can move, and he was able to find his guys uh, consistently. And Denver really had no answer for it. Like it was such a
Yep.
sinking feeling because it just felt like a slow death the entire game.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times fans will do this to like I interpret it as like a coping mechanism when they lose. Like they like to say things like, well, they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves, which doesn't make much sense to me because that makes me feel way worse. Like that's way more embarrassing to beat yourself than to be beat by another team. I want to be clear that this is not one of those cases. The Indianapolis Colts absolutely beat us. They were the better
Mhm.
team. I'm happy for Daniel Jones. I do not know how sustainable this is going to be for him, but you make a great point that what they are wanting to do on the offensive side of the ball, given their personnel, should theoretically be pretty dang sustainable, especially if Jonathan Taylor is running the ball like he has been.
Mhm.
I just came away really impressed with their team. And I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic about this defense. I do have questions about our linebackers for as long as Dre Greenlaw is not healthy, which is probably going to be for another few weeks if we're being honest. We'll see what VJ does to, kind of cover up those deficiencies. But I mean, if you look at it, there's still a lot of things you like. You still have the best corner in football. You still have a great edge room, and Nick Bonito is generating pressure at
Mm.
a pretty remarkable rate. So I still feel good about this team. I loved seeing improvement on the offense. I don't believe this was a moral victory in the slightest. Um, but I'm not panicked. I feel good, and uh, yeah, you want to see some of those improvements. So this is something I'm kind of able to, you know, I can move on from this and be okay.
Yeah. Now, aside, that's a lot of bad. Ian, what did you see from Bo Nix? Because it felt very
Yeah,
different from week 1 to week 2. Tell me a little bit about that.
again, he just showed us, and this wasn't like brand new. I think we just hadn't seen it as clearly in the preseason or against the Titans, but he has improved in his command of this offense. He was making some checks that was great to see. Rhett, some of the arm talent was on display that we forget Bo Nix has. The throw to Troy Franklin where he was sitting in a clean pocket and then he starts running to his right, and I was so frustrated. I was like, "Oh, you're doing the thing again!" And then he comes back the other way, and I was, "This is gonna be bad." It is like the little flick and just a beautiful ball to Troy. I thought the very first touchdown to Marvin Mims was really good placement by him. He was able to
Hmm.
drive that ball. Uh, I thought it was a really solid game from Bo, and this is part of why I'm able to. Um, I'm able to feel okay after this loss because I was more concerned about. I want to see improvement from Bo. Obviously, it wasn't a good game from our defense. I'm really not worried about our defense though. Like I
Hmm.
believe in our defense still. Bo was the guy that I needed to actually see tangibly on the field. Are you making improvements from last year? And I thought he showed it. Um, you know, average depth of target and total overall passing yards. I know those things weren't impressive, but in terms of the mental makeup of his game and some of the plays he was able to make, I thought we saw some really good things.
Yeah. I mean, I know he had the fourth quarter interception, but looking back, that looked like it was a tipped pass, which makes you feel a lot better. And it honestly explains it a lot more. Um, I was encouraged because you know, I mean, this is pretty reductionist, but I mean, we put up 28 points. Ian, how many game if we put up 28 points every single game, how many games do you think this team is going to win? Like we're talking 12, 13
A lot,
games,
a
14
lot,
games maybe, right? Like it
a
this
lot.
is this
And
you
okay, I'm
go,
going to
you go.
talk now. Okay, I
Yeah.
was going to let you continue. Uh, and you feel good about 28 against this defense. I know it's still early in the
Mhm,
year, so we're still accumulating the bigger picture on every team because the
mhm,
season's still so young. But I look at some of the guys they had on this team. Um, Luan Arumo, I think, is rediscovering his fastball a little bit. There were some guys on there. Cross, I don't know. Cross, he's a defensive back for them.
mhm.
Uh, Maybe
Yeah, he
Nick
one of their
Cross.
safeties, right?
He really impressed me. He just looked
Mhm.
like he was all over the place. Just a really well coached defense. So 28 against this defense, I think, is well earned. And you do feel good. I mean, Rhett, if we're putting 28 a game, yeah, we'll win a lot of games for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we went into the game thinking that this team was going to be more vulnerable defensively because they were missing a lot of guys at corner. And then we forgot that they had Lou Anarumo calling plays. And Lou Anarumo plays better when he doesn't have talent. Calls he calls a better game whenever he doesn't have good players to use, it seems. So yeah, 28's a good number. 29 being given up, I'll go out on a limb and say that's one of the two highest numbers you will see all year. Um, like
I
it
agree.
just very likely this defense is almost never going to give up 29 points in a game, and so
I agree.
you feel good about it. And we didn't really activate Cortland Sutton, who for there are several games last year where the entire offense was Cortland Sutton and then like some little
And
pieces around it.
Rhett, I think to interject a little bit to that point, I'm glad you bring it up because while obviously you don't want to see, obviously he was a focus of theirs. They wanted
Hmm.
him taken out of the game, and they did that well. Uh, for Bo to be able to look to Troy Franklin, for Bo to be able to
Hmm.
look to Marvin Mims, some other guys like that. I think it's good to see one of Bo's better games, and it's a game where Cortland Sutton's not really a big part of it. I think we can feel good about that because we know in the past he has gone to Cortland so much, and he'll continue to do so as he should. Uh, but yeah, I feel good about Franklin getting what eight catches for 89 yards. Like that's really
Yeah.
great. We want to see more of that going forward. We had him running like there's one play we were getting that got us right up to the goal line. It's Troy's running a glance route, RPO
Hmm.
attachment, just a quick slant. I don't know, one of those things where because he's put on that extra weight, he's got the body to do that now and got in real quick and both more of those things going forward. I would like to see as wrinkles in our offense and uh, yeah, you feel good about that. You feel good about Marvin making a play. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Because
man, I
it's the year to the cat and mouse game, right? The rookie year comes out. Um, it looked like the Colts looked like a defense that did their due diligence, and they said Bo
yeah,
really likes to go to Cortland Sutton. Let's cut that off, and they did a lot to take away Cortland Sutton.
yeah,
And the question of sophomore year is whenever they take away your comfort stuff, the initial stuff you do, like we didn't even see a whole lot of Bo creating on the ground, and that was his bread and butter last year was finding Cortland Sutton. And then when nothing was
yeah,
else was there, creating with his feet. And those two
yeah,
things weren't there for him, and he still had a very productive day finding Marvin Mims and finding Troy Franklin and getting the ball out to getting checking into the run plays that look good, keeping the offense pretty well on schedule for most of this
yeah,
game. And
yeah,
that's encouraging because if it's week two and already Bo is showing the league that like this is what Sean Payton wants the offense to look like. They're going to try to take Cortland Sutton away. Okay, cool. Take him away. We will still kill you with these other options. And then if you have to play more honest, then it's going to open the game back up for Cortland Sutton. And that's whenever the defense gets into a place where you can't cover it all at once. So I would say panic meter is very low. I would put it at a 2.5 or a 3 for me. Just there it wasn't great. You want the line man can like Dre Greenlaw, your secret mystery injury recovery timeline, please any moment now, man. We will take you back whenever. But
yeah.
outside of that,
There's not
like
not much you can do about it for now.
yeah,
Not much you can do
it'll be
about it.
fine. And so long, listen,
We
if he if he wants to come back week 12 and can stay healthy from then on, sure. Like take all the time you need, bud. Just
Yeah, well, yesterday in his press conference, Sean Payton was asked about Dre, and which the Sean Payton loves getting asked about injuries. For his
hmm.
players. If any beat writers are listening to this, just make sure you ask him about injuries for his players. He loves that. He described it. He said the injury with Dre, it's a real nebulous situation, and I was just like, we know, we are
Hmm.
aware. But we don't have him until we have him. You can't rush him back too soon. So we'll see what the future holds with that. But until then, we're on to the Chargers. So
We're on to Los Angeles. Um All right. Well, before we look ahead to week three, or do we want to do week three, or do we want to do big boy pants? What do you think?
Let's do
Let's do,
big boy
let's
pants. I like the
let's
rhythm
do
from last week.
let's do big
Let's
boy
take a little
pants.
pause on the state of the team and do a couple
Yeah.
other things, and then we revisit.
Let's a little palate cleanser here. Every week in the NFL, we get to see some rookie have their moment and step into a new phase of life and leave the college diapers. They go from being diaper dandies as whatever that college. Who's the college basketball guy that call that? Anyway, I don't remember. But they go from wearing their college little diapers to putting on their big boy pants. Ian, you have said you have a surprise uh, big boy for us. Who are you giving out big boy pants to this week?
Well, I really only meant that in the sense that I wasn't telling you until the show.
Well,
If people
I'll
have
be
been paying
surprised.
attention, this shouldn't be a surprise to people. not, not trying to like degrade you or anything, right?
Uh,
Yeah, mine is Bills tight end Jackson Hawes. Okay, uh,
yes.
listen,
Okay, wait.
we love
Okay.
Jackson Hawes.
Jackson Hawes. Is that spelled with an X or a CK?
I I'm assuming a CK,
I would assume so, but like how they're doing it
but
down in the South right
just
now.
do it, just do it with a CK. Okay.
Uh, it's
Jackson Haas, Rhett, obviously in the draft, I thought he was, if we're talking about pure blocking, he's the best pure blocker tight end in the draft. I
uh-huh.
loved Jackson Haas. He goes to Buffalo, which is one of those things where you're like, gosh, what a great culture fit for them, right? Just the lunch pail, do all the dirty work guy.
Mm-hmm.
You think about like Dalton Kincaid, who's really more of that big receiver archetype. You just see the vision, and it's one of those cases where it's exactly what you thought, man. This last week against the Jets, Rhett, he was stalemating edge rushers,
Mm.
just straight up. Like he can go up against a defensive end and he can hold his own and make that a stalemate. It's incredible to watch him. Like the jump from the college level to the pros, he is already one of the very best blocking tight ends in the NFL. Uh,
Wow.
it's incredible to watch, man. And the Bills have such an interesting offense, and so you really get to see him shine in that way. And actually, Rhett, per this notification I just got, the Bills and the Dolphins are playing right now on Thursday Night Football. Jackson Haas just got his first career touchdown.
Oh,
I know that doesn't
hey.
really count for Big Boy Pants last week, but I just want to give him a shout out. So, hey, multi-dimensional player. Okay,
Congratulations,
uh,
Jackson Hawes. Out
we
there just doing man stuff, like
he
blocking
is,
up
man. Yeah,
DEs,
so
catching
he is.
TDs.
He
Man.
is. Speaking of the E sound, there is an E between the W and the S of his last name, so you might want to add that. So just go ahead and throw that in there.
Howes.
Uh, respect Jackson Haas, please. Please respect him. Yeah, that's my guy. I don't need to dwell on it too much, man. He is an awesome throwback player. I love that he's in Buffalo, and he has been a menace in the run game. As a blocker, he's a lot of fun to watch. So that's my guy.
Look, and now it's properly correct. That's really exciting. That's fun. That's the thing. Tight end is such an interesting position because as much I feel like tight end and linebacker are the positions that it is most just a crapshoot as to who makes the leap and when and how well. So if I guess if you're a front office and you find someone that can really scout a tight end, hold on to that guy because I don't feel
Oh
like
man,
I don't
it
have any
reminds
firm
me.
grasp on who's going to translate well to the NFL. I don't have a
It,
good track record with tight ends at all. So Jackson Hawes
it,
showing up and showing out, we love it.
it made me miss the old days. In the Peyton Manning era, we had Virgil Green,
Mm,
uh, who he was similar in that way, just a big dude who could throw a block. So, absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. All right, Rhett. So, who's putting on the big boy
Who? Wait,
pants
wait, 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 wait.
for
Okay,
you?
okay, wait. Let's get into the weeds for just a second. Who was the tight end that Josh McDaniels drafted in like the second round that was literally just a blocking tight end?
Richard Quinn. Richard
Richard
Quinn.
Quinn, dude,
Man,
man.
Dude,
Yeah,
what a bad
dude.
draft that was.
Richard Quinn wishes he was Jackson Haas. That was a terrible draft
He
class.
wishes he was anything, man. Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
jeez. You just put me in a bad mood now. All right, talk
I'm
about your big boy
sorry.
pants player.
Yeah, for me, uh, my big boy pants player is Ted McMillan. Uh, and Tetaroa, oddly enough, played against the Cardinals secondary, featuring Will Johnson, who was my big boy pants player of the week last year.
Whoa,
So
man.
good news for me though, and my reputation. From everything I've seen, I don't think any of his catches came while being guarded by Will Johnson. So we'll see
Just
that. I
got
don't know
lucky.
why. Dude, Cardinals should have had him shadowed. But he had 6 catches for 100 yards. He got exactly to 100 yards, so big for the kid. And he has just shown up and immediately been the wide receiver one out
Yep.
there. He is taking on the responsibilities of being an X. He is uh, he is being shown for like he's being given the responsibilities. He is running a pretty full route tree that from what I'm seeing, he's making plays. And I can't get over. I don't know if you saw the highlight. Did you see his almost catch on the sideline?
Yeah, yeah. It was impressive, man.
uh, Landed out of bounds, but oh my goodness, crawling over the back of some poor child out there on the sideline, one handing it and landed just out of bounds. So Ted McMillan, big uh, big ups
Yeah.
to you, man.
Isn't
Grab
that
your
isn't
big
that
boy pants.
shocking that isn't that shocking that the 6'5" receiver who does can run and does everything well ended up being a good pro?
I
That's
know, because there are lots of
everyone
people
got
who
so. Do you remember? Everyone got weird about that. Like I don't know if it was prospect fatigue. Got to. I feel like I shout him out every episode now. But Trevor Sikkema, I just love the guy. He's like my.
Mhm.
If I was a Make a Wish person, I'd want to meet him. Uh, Trevor was one of those guys that never really wavered on him being an elite prospect in this draft, and he always used the same logic. He's like, "Why are we being so weird about this clearly awesome prospect in every sense?" And it turns out he's awesome. So yeah,
It's one of the great
that's a great pick.
principles in the draft community is um, don't overthink it. Is that some guys you realize are good early, and then you just know when they break through with another year of eligibility left and they go back to school, like you almost have to like bake into their analysis, be like, hey, I'm not going to be as impressed this year. I'm not. It's going to get weird. And dude, yeah, he's just
Good players are good.
I'm excited for for his future and hope to see him continue to just absolutely clown on people. That's our big boy pants uh, presented by Gerber or I don't know
Okay,
whoever.
great. I didn't know we
Pre-
had sponsors now.
yeah, presented by Aspiration organization, get carbon neutral. Um, Up
Great.
next, uh, speaking of the draft, we go from rookies. Now we're taking another year back. We're gonna talk about some early beef, and
Mm, it's what's
we
for
still
dinner.
believe another week down, and even though all the metrics are saying Denver has an incredible offensive line, I'm telling you, man, in the middle of that O line, it's not 100% amazing. If there was a player along that starting five that you could see being replaced in 2026, it's probably Luke Wattenberg in the middle.
I would
Um,
agree.
and uh, today we're gonna look at could it possibly be that the former Auburn Tiger will be taking snaps from another former Auburn Tiger next year? Let's take a look at a prospect here. Oh,
Hmm.
Cou- Hmm.
There he is.
There he is in
There
the
he is.
flesh. Connor Luke. I believe people are calling him Sweet Lou. I haven't actually heard anything, but I'd like to see. Ian, tell me a little bit about Connor Luke.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you plenty about Connor Liu. Really, really good prospect. I know it's early Off the cuff, I would say he'd probably be my top interior offensive lineman as of right now. There is a lot to like about him. You see the measurables there, 6'3", 300 pounds. Another thing about him, Red, especially if he chooses to come out in this draft, he only just turned 20 in
Mm,
August. So still a very young player, but for as young as he is, man, talk about how developed of a player. Uh, it's a guy who, he was a wrestling letterman in high school. You
wow.
can that pops up everywhere, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you see that in the way that he's able to understand leverages, very strong lower body, Rhett. I think
Yes.
probably uh, when they get him moving and getting lateral, just an effortless mover, really good laterally. He finished. He's a really good finisher. I think young guys his age, there's plenty of those dudes who it's like you like a lot of what you see, and they got good measurables and they're athletic, but they don't really finish. Connor Liu doesn't have that problem. Um, I think my favorite thing about him, Rhett, uh, it felt like what I watched of him, he was just so consistently good at getting to the second level. Uh,
Hmm.
it almost felt automatic, you know. Um, so yeah, man, Connor Liu, I really like him a lot. Um, I like his makeup. I like what he brings to the table. Uh, I I haven't really looked at a ton of mock drafts because obviously it's still so early. I
Yeah.
don't know. I know I know he's well liked. Don't make the mistake of thinking we have found like this hidden gem that people aren't talking about. Like he's right now a highly rated prospect. I am assuming that end of the first round is probably where people are putting him right now. Dude, I'd be golden if we took a guy like this.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be a fantastic pro. I wouldn't have been angry if we went the Gray Zabel route this last year.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think Connor Liu would immediately come in and be our center. And he brings so much to the table. Um, yeah, I'm a big fan, Rhett. I'm a really big fan. We've looked at some good offensive linemen so far. You want to share any of your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I got to sit down this week and watch a little bit of Connor Liu, and I was very impressed. In fact, it's shocking to me to hear how young he is because he does not look young and he doesn't
Yeah,
look small. But my first note that I had is that he just looks big. He like 300
yeah, yeah, man.
was a surprising number. Although for
He's
a
a
center like nowadays,
it's a
that's
good
actually
it's a
it's a good
yeah
size. That's a good size
yeah
for a center, what you're looking for. But he just looked he looks like a tackle or a guard. Not
yeah
not typically what you see with a center, but even at the size that he's at, I like that not only is he big, but he also plays very big. Um,
he
Particularly,
does.
one of the games I watched them play against Cal from last year, and he was just moving people as
Yeah,
they
man.
were
He was a menace.
he was going after people. I loved how in particular, like he was nasty, but he was also very he was an absolute like a technician and like a very principled player of the position. So for things
Hmm.
like you always want to see your lineman, there were several times where Cal wouldn't even send anyone at him. And so he'd
Yeah,
face up and it's empty, but there would be a delay and he would keep his gap sound
yeah.
and would wait out for the delay, and then if they never sent it, he would then turn and he would go find work and he would jump in on a
That's
double and he'd mess people
yeah.
up. But he never like you want a lot of times defensive coordinators, they send that delay blitz, they want someone to look up, say there's nobody there, I'm going to go turn and do the double, and then they open up that gap, and he just like that just was not an issue for him. So I loved that
He
he
is the perfect. He walks the line perfectly of gap integrity and going and looking for that work.
yeah
It's a really good point.
he had a really great there. I love he moves really well for being a big center. A lot of times, like
He
you,
moves so well, man.
you're
Yeah.
you're 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 kind of if he pans out, what he could possibly be is you're seeing like the best of both worlds. Where at center, you either want a guy who can just wrestle with the massive with Dexter Lawrence or whatever in the middle of that line and
Yep.
hold their ground, or you want guys that can move and pull and get around. And he looks like he might be able to do both of those things well, potentially. Because again, the first couple snaps, I was going, "Oh, is he going to be a fit for us?" We're moving more to the West Coast scheme. Like, is this guy is clearly a gap power center, and then he pulled and he moved and he looked good.
He,
I
I
am
might even say he's at his best laterally.
yeah, I really like I love Connor Wood. I would take him in the first round. Like if you could lock in right now, I don't know where we
Yeah.
are in the first. I don't know what's going on. If like I would be very tempted to just push the Connor Lou button and say, let's just pack it in. Let's take him. I don't want to see who draw like this would be a huge it looks like he's it's a big need for us in terms of across our offensive line. Luke Wattenberg is smart. He is mobile. He lacks a lot of that anchor. The strength is just not there, and so I think he would be a big
Yeah.
improvement. Um, my last uh, my last note on Connor Lou's tape is uh, Peyton Thorne sucks. Oh my god! um, so his uh,
Well,
I don't mean to be like sending out strays, but man,
yeah.
watching
Listen. You
2024
know,
Auburn tape was
I don't.
rough if you were
I
not
don't know what
scouting.
the. I don't know what the origin of this meme is, the meme format with the guy putting his hand on the dude's shoulder and having
Yeah,
this smirk. I'm doing that to you right now because now they've got Jackson Arnold, and
yeah,
I want Jackson Arnold to do well, but he is a guy who clearly has limitations as well. So
yeah. I think
I'll leave it at
I
that.
that Cal game. I'm pretty sure I watched four completely inexplicable interceptions. Just unbelievable stuff. So uh. Arn, Auburn hasn't had, I don't think, a good quarterback since Bo Nix. Like, and even at Auburn, like Bo threw a bunch of wild interceptions and whatnot. It's just something in the water
Yep.
down there,
Yep.
man. Like they're cursed to just have some really awful quarterback play. But would love would love to see Sweet Lou anchoring the line in
Sweet
Denver
Lou.
next year. That I'm in. I'm
Let's
fully
do it.
Connor Lou pilled, man.
Let's lock it
Let's
in right now.
let's lock it in. Okay. Spread the word. Early beef. Continue to use the hashtag. Continue to go if you are local in Denver. Go stand out in front of the stadium and hold signs and just let people know we gotta bolster this. We gotta continue to bolster this strength of our team. We can't let it slip in 2026. Ian, we have we have some familiar foes coming up on
We
Sunday.
do.
In the Los Angeles Chargers. Tell me really quick, what are your take on the Chargers' first 2 weeks? What was your read on them heading into the season, and do you feel it's hard to say better or worse because of the perspective where we're standing, but do you feel like they are better or worse than what you thought going in?
Um, that's hard to say. They're kind of about what I thought they'd be. Like, I'm not shocked to see them 2-0 right now. Uh, Jim Harbaugh coaches good football teams. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This is a really good football team. My kind of early take on them is like Justin Herbert. He is as good as we've known he is. People are starting to see that a little more. Um, it, it's a little more upfront. I thought they played a great game against Kansas City week one. I think against Las Vegas this past week, you saw their offensive line in the pass game getting a little bit exposed. I thought Las Vegas did a good job getting pressure. Um,
Hmm.
that Raiders defense, which by the way, like give them some flowers. They actually they played a really tough game against the Chargers. Their offense couldn't get anything going against that Chargers defense. They're trying to like spam Jacoby Myers underneath a bunch to varying amounts of success, and that was about it. But the Chargers offensive line, I do have a little bit of concerns. Not with Joe Alt. Joe Alt is um, one of the best tackles in the NFL. But you look at some of these other guys on there, Bozeman and Pipkins, and the Raiders were able to really generate some pressure on them. And that's going to be paramount for us on Sunday, is being able to do that consistently and then being able to capitalize. I would argue that we have more dogs in our secondary that can take advantage of pressure on Herbert. But that's going to be the Chargers' weakness if they have one on offense. Jim Harbaugh offenses are tough, and they're not easily exploitable. So it's going to be paramount that our defensive front is able to show up for that. Chargers defense, man, kind of the similar. Just really well coached. Obviously, we're going to be aided by Khalil Mack not playing, but man, they've got some good guys on that defense. Diane Henley in particular, I just kind of really want to highlight as he's someone I'm particularly impressed with. I think he was all over against the Raiders. Really, really, really good young linebacker.
Okay, give me a comp, because I do not know Diane Henley's game. So give me a comp. What's he play like?
So yesterday's or this last season was his rookie year, 2024. So he's very young. I don't like throwing out comps for a guy who's still developing his game. But like, if you think, please don't overreact to this.
Yeah.
If you think of like a Fred Warner type who can fly all over the field, and it feels like, how on earth is he over here? Because he just offers that type of range and athleticism.
Okay.
Really good player. You're gonna hear his name called quite a bit in our game with him. It's the type of defense that you feel. I'll put it this way: losing prominent names to injury doesn't make you feel a ton better because of how well coached they are. They have a couple of corners, Tarheeb Still, Cam Hart, I believe Dante Jackson, just a lot of good young corners. Obviously, Derwin James is a freak. It's going to be really hard. Taylor Tart on the defensive line, he's been real good to start the year. And then what's that guy I really loved? Jamari Caldwell from Oregon, rookie, just a mountain of a man. I think he got a sack this last week. It's going to be a really tough game, Rhett. There's a big part of me that really wants Sean to humble himself and just allow Bo to really be an RPO quarterback this Sunday. Spam a lot of those types of looks. We are going to want to establish the ground game early, and I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but if we can't establish anything on the ground early, it's going to feel like we're going to be trying to play keep up all game, because I do expect the Chargers. You just brought up how light our defense is relative to other ones. They're going to be running that ball hard.
Yeah.
They've got some bruisers. O'Marion Hampton is a huge back. And I think they're going to want to capitalize, given the fact that they have some guys on their line that struggle in pass pro. They're going to really want to lean into that rushing attack. It's going to be tough, man. I'm not really stressed or worried about it, which is weird. I should be worried about it because this is going to be, in my opinion, the best team we've played so far. But I'm just kind of excited to see a little bit of like, okay, how are we stacking up against these guys? Can Bo continue a positive trend against a really tough defense like this? Can our defense rebound against a very look, man? We just talked about the running game, but like when the Chargers air it out, they've been doing this thing where they put Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey on the same side of the formation, and it is just causing havoc. Because these dudes are both just so good at getting open, but also. Let's give a shout out to Quentin Johnston, who's really started to put it together a little bit. He's not a perfect receiver, but he's really started to put it together quite a bit. So, I didn't even mention Trey Harris, a rookie from Ole Miss that I think you maybe really liked.
I am a big Trey Harris guy, so we'll see if he comes along. I think you'll look for him more on the second half of the season. He's he'll take a little bit of polishing up, but whew.
Yeah, it's definitely there for him. So yeah, Rhett, I think I feel excited about this game just because the first couple weeks of the season, it's so hard to really get a handle, and it doesn't tell the full story. And I feel like going against a tough team like this, we're going to finally actually get a little more of an idea of our medal uh,
Hmm.
that we're going to have for 2025. So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think honestly, if over our lifetime as fans of the Broncos, the the AFC West rival that has most often been like a real rival for us has been the Chargers. We've
sure.
had Kansas City was an afterthought until for the most part until Andy Reid showed up.
Well,
The
and then even when Andy
Raiders,
Reid showed up, we never lost to the Chiefs, and then we exclusively lost to the Chiefs.
yeah,
For multiple
we
years.
we spent all of our tokens early on. The Raiders have historically been, like we were raised to hate the Raiders, but like I've never felt like they were a threat.
Yeah,
The the Chargers,
the
every
Chargers are
time
always interesting.
I think one of I have really appreciated the rivalry we've had with the Chargers because it feels like every time that we're young and up and coming and can do something, the Chargers are young and up and coming and can do something. Like when we had Jay
Yeah,
Cutler and maybe we were going to become something with our young core, young Philip Rivers was there to
yeah,
talk trash across
yeah,
the field at him. When uh when we had Peyton Manning and we were all in and it was time to try to make some of that push, the Chargers were in a similar
yep,
they were a couple players away.
yep,
Um, this this is yet again another time where if you look at our teams, the ethos of our football teams is very similar. Uh, Old school coaches that are geniuses and but very much want to run the ball, establish a running game.
yep,
Defenses that are going to fly around and play very very aggressive style defense. Um, this
yep.
is not going to be an easy game for us because when it comes down to it, it's going to be the question is can Bo Nix go go shot for shot
Yeah,
with Justin Herbert, who has been playing out of his freaking mind
he's
the
been
first two
playing
weeks.
great.
But as much as uh, as much as last week was a little bit concerning about the defense, I'm so excited to watch this secondary go against this group of receivers.
Yeah,
This
yeah, for
is
sure.
this is going to be fun. Like I don't think Vance Joseph is going to change who he is. I think we're going to play a lot of man against the Chargers, and I want to see
I think
Pat
so
Surtain and
too.
Lad McConkey just
Yeah,
like
and that's fun. I gotta tell you though, Rhett, like Keenan Allen's gonna have our linebackers in hell, brother. Like
well, yeah,
Greg
we gotta.
Roman's gonna
That's
try to exploit that matchup.
that's going to be a
Uh,
problem. But this could this be a Jade Barron game? Like
it
personnel
could.
wise, we got to figure out what we're going to do. With the
Yeah,
linebackers. But if our defensive line can control the line of scrimmage, and if we can get out to a good start and keep them from building a lead to where they can't be leaning on that run game, is this a game where we're able to put more defensive backs on the field and we're able to pressure and play man and send extra bodies to stop the run and just go man up and have that be more successful? I feel like there's a better chance of that because I don't think as many of those just like the box out balls, the contested catch things. I I feel better about our guys staying with the Chargers receivers than beating the Colts receivers at the catch point, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I don't feel like. I mean, we'll get into it when we do our score predictions. Like, I don't expect us. I guess I'm spoiling a little bit. I don't expect us to win this game. Uh, but we totally could. Like, we
mhm,
totally could win this game. It's a weird feeling going, and I think some of it is what you talked about, like our rivalry with the Chargers. I mean, last year the Chargers swept us, which I feel like has been pretty rare of late, of the past decade or so. it really didn't matter how good or bad either of our teams were. It seemed like we would always get at least one on the Chargers
Yeah.
most years. And so I don't know. And this is a completely different team than like the Chargers of old. And I know a lot is made of like chargering and all that stuff. But this is a very disciplined and talented team. They will present a really great challenge for us. And so I genuinely am excited about it. And I'm curious to see uh, if our defense can get back to old form and if our offense can continue an upward trend.
Yeah, I am. I, I don't even know what to think of this game. This is the first one that this is the truly the first toss up game that we have on our schedule. We'll see how we do. Ian, why don't you give us your final score prediction? I do want to shout you out, though, really quick. We were not nearly as good as we were at picking the score last week. Not to say that I was good 2 weeks ago, but you were off by 1 point in week one. Week two, you predicted a 17-16 win. It was a 29-28 loss, but you had the margin correct. You had it as a very
Mhm.
close game. So,
Well, no, that doesn't really mean much. Shout
uh,
out to my dog who's in the screen, by the way. He
hey,
just popped up.
hey.
I forgot it was there. That's his
Uh,
butt.
yeah,
Well,
that's
thanks
it's
for
the
the
tough.
shout out.
That's why you do the YouTube thing, right? Podcast, the audio only content. It's
Yeah,
miss you miss out on these kind of things. All right.
Ian, you got the score wrong and you got the team that won wrong, but the margin will always be yours.
Yeah. Dude, how you do it? Okay. So, Ian, what is your score prediction for week three?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go 27-21 Chargers. I think we are gonna do a pretty good job for the most part containing Justin Herbert in this offense, but I think towards the end there's going to be a couple of discipline issues that come up, and I think the game will be put. Like I think the Chargers will put a dagger in us towards the end there. I think they win this game. I don't think that means we still are not going to have to panic. But yeah, I think the Chargers take this one. So 27-21, that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. All right. Um, this is a tough game. I see this. I think this game's going to get real down in the mud. I think that both the
Okay.
defenses are going to end up having an advantage, and I think it's going to come down to which team makes a big play, which team makes a big mistake. And I'm gonna choose the Broncos to make the big play. Nick Benito's doing been putting up absolute numbies.
He he is awesome. Yeah.
And even though like last week it didn't come through with a sack, dude just teleports
He's
uh
amazing, man.
around line. Like it is uncanny. His speed rush is ridiculous, and now that a he's got like the speed to power and this and the swim and the spin and whatnot to like the counters off of that. It's crazy. So I'm gonna say that we win this game 16-13, and
Ooh.
it's it's just ugly, uh, and we we'll feel like, oh, okay, that's back to our regularly scheduled defense. I think there's going to be some times we put them in a couple bad positions and they
Yeah.
come through. I say we get our first interception of
Okay.
the year, and I'm going to say that it goes to um, I'm going to say Talanoa Hufanga gets it in the
Okay.
middle of the field. Yeah, in the
I
middle of
love
the
it.
field. Uh,
I would
you
love
know,
a 16-13 game win over Jim Harbaugh, man. I mean, that's taking the gloves off. Like
Jim
that's
Harbaugh
taking
might
the
love a
gloves off, and
16-13 game, even if he has
he's
to
a
lose it.
psycho, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that I'd be great, man. I look. I don't
Yeah.
care how ugly it is. A win's a win. Okay. Win's a win.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rhett thinks that the Broncos will narrowly win. I think we will lose by a score. We'll see what happens.
We will
Looking
see. We
forward
will
to it.
see what happens. And let's just remember that win or lose, we always will have um, we will have each other. Ian, you know
We
that.
will.
You
That's
know
what they
that.
say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the Long Distance Kicks podcast. No matter what happens, we love you. And
We love you. You specifically. We love you.
yeah, and stay safe out there. Bye.
Good night, everybody.